What's going on, people? Let's see if this thing's working like it's supposed to. Yep, it is. It is. It is. It is. So let me make sure I got everything I need. Get to my channel. Hi guys, this is Uncle Dallas. I told you guys I will be here every Monday. Make sure I got some. Yep, every Monday in my studio. So for those of you who don't know, my name is William Dallas. I am your access to the next level. I got a hat on today. Access to the next level. Just some things that you can do. So today we're going to talk about a number of different things. How was your weekend? We're going to be here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today I want to talk about 3 things that will transform everything about your life if you do them correctly. That's 3 things that will transform your life if you do them correctly. Right here, Higher Standard Strong. They messed my logo up. The 2 things that I do every day, there's time of meditation and there's time of demonstration. Now, they may seem like 2 different things, but they're actually the same thing. I mean, they may seem like 2 of the same thing, but they're actually different things. So, meditation. This weekend, we had some things happening. This is the first of the month. I think it's the second of the month. This is the second of the month, and within that time, most of you are getting ready for bills and getting ready to do all those kinds of things. But I want you to understand something. Let me show you something in the Bible. Just show you something. Let me see. Where are we? If you are carrying this little book we call the Bible, I will tell you to go to Romans, the 8th chapter. Romans, the 8th chapter. And Romans is one of those books that you constantly want to read. You constantly want to be in Romans, because Romans is really one of those things that just kind of sets the principles of your life and gives you a level of spiritual law that is more a personal spiritual law that get you to the point. The only thing that you're gonna have to be very careful of is trying not to get to a point where, and this is going to sound very interesting. I'm sorry, let me get my mic over here. This will sound kind of interesting. Try not to get to a point where you are abusing yourself according to what you read. Just try not to get to that point. So, we're going to Romans, the 8th chapter, and it's the 18th verse. So 8:1-8. Romans 8 and 18. And it says something, so, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. One of the things I realized as I begin to grow in the things of God is growth takes place. I know everybody wants to stay in the same passage, sit in the same pew, go to the same church, drive the same car. And what we don't want to tell each other is that we're operating in this thing called luck. We believe that we'll be lucky if we do the same things. It's kind of like conditioning ourselves to do something every single solitary time so that we get out of it what we actually want. When in actuality, the Spirit of God is not so, I want to say consistent, but it's not so, is it consistent? It's not so preconceived, or it's not so predictable. That's probably what I want to say. It's not so predictable. And so what I realize is within this movement, I have to learn how not to be predictable. Why? There is a such thing as an adversary. And an adversary can be, call it the devil, call it whatever the situation is. But the key to the adversary for a person like you and a person like me is not to tear us down, is to make us stronger. There's an old saying that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. When you understand that there is adversity to everything you do, whether you call them haters, whatever your situation is, when you understand that there's an adversary and there's adversity to what you're doing, from that point on, you are able to master each movement because you expect an adversarial move. Now, here's where I had the challenge. My challenge was the fact that I didn't expect the adversary to move. Now, not that I did not expect conflict. I didn't take into consideration what the adversary or the adversity of what I'm doing would have. So, example, if you ever get on any type of social media platform and you go from the 1,000 people you have now to 80,000 people, which I think we're moving at 80,000 people right now as a company, as an organization. 80,000 people. Do you know within the 80,000 people, I don't care how many of those 80,000 people follow you, within the 80,000 people, there are some of those people that just don't like you? Just don't like you. What? Yeah, just don't like you. And it has absolutely nothing to do with you. I'll never forget, I wrote a book. When I wrote the book, we were talking about how at that time I was buying boxes and boxes of books. Boxes of books, go to a church, sell all the books. Box of books, go to church, sell all the books. And when I would go to these churches, I would sell a book. And everybody loved the book, those that read it. Because everybody buys a book, not everybody reads it. Everybody loved the book. So one person called me and said they didn't like the book. I don't even know why they didn't like it. Just didn't like the book. And so I'm talking to my Minister Haynes, Herb Haynes. He was here one time on one of our shows. And while I'm talking to him, he says to me, I say to him, well, what this the book must be bad. But it was one. But he said that was one person out of 1 million people that actually said something about the book. One person. And so what happened was, at that time, I took that personally, because when you do something, you want everybody to like it. You want it to help everybody, but it doesn't. So when this passage says, "For I reckon the sufferings of this present time not to be to compare with what the glory that's revealed in us," these things have to happen. These things have to happen, number one. And number two, you're not going to lose. You can't lose. If you don't understand that, you will be fighting a battle with hope, and fighting a battle maybe, and fighting a battle with possibilities. But you don't have to fight the battle with those things. What you simply have to do is realize you can't lose. And when you realize you can't lose, from that point, you no longer fight the battle, you just go through the process. You no longer fight the battle, you simply go through the process. And so one of the things I need you to understand, that's really three. The first thing I need you to understand is conflict is inevitable. Conflict is inevitable. It's just going to happen. So get over it. Conflict is inevitable. It happens. It's going to happen. People are going to be in the midst of it, and there's situations that are going to happen. If there's more than one person in that situation, conflict is inevitable. You follow me? That's number one. Somebody write that down. Conflict is inevitable. Meet me. So that's number one. Conflict is inevitable. So if you got that, when you start to move in your different areas, you have to realize that conflict is conflict is going to happen. So that's number one. Now we're going to do it even according to this thing. So it says, when he says reckon the present suffering, the word suffering here is a little different than what you probably think suffering is. And when you look at it, you will understand what I mean. He said, reckon this present suffering not to be compared. And so what I'm watching happen is we get to this new point, and hold on for a second. There. Okay. We get to this new point, and it says, I reckon this present suffering not to be compared. So, first thing it says, I reckon this present suffering. So, first thing I say, realize when you get into something, however you slice it, when you get into it, there is always a conflict. And the conflict is not to stop you, it's to strengthen you. So, it says, I reckon this present suffering not to be compared. Number two, realize there's an adversary. Number two, do not compare what you are going through with someone else is going through. We so desperately want to do it right that we find ourselves going, well, Bob couldn't make it happen, so I guess I can't make it happen. Do not compare what you're going through with what someone else has gone through. This is the second thing that I had to learn, because I began to go, wait a minute, he just did this and this didn't work, so why would I try the thing? What you have to realize is, within this battle, And it's not a battle within this exercise. There's just within going through this process. Within going through this process, you have to understand one thing more importantly than anything else. Your life has a mandate on it. And the mandate that's on your life is the mandate that you have to follow. There are people that have joined different organizations and tried to be like the person that was the star of the organization or the beginning of the organization. And so what happens is they find themselves in a situation where they get to try to look like, and this happens a lot of times in religious organizations, a whole lot of times in churches. They try to look like, act like, move like, talk like that person because they want what that person has. But their experience and your experience is something else. The second thing that happens is a lot of times people start going, hey, because you can't make it happen, apparently I can't make it happen. When you have to realize if there's a mandate on your life for something, that thing is not going to feel like it was for them. You have been called to do it. And if you're called to do it, you have all the equipment necessary to do it. As I read through this thing, I literally read it every single solitary day. As I read through this thing, and I really should show y'all some other things. I'm going to show you some really crazy things that's going to really show y'all that I look through. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this. This is called a Rob report. And I said, yeah, this is called a Rob report. And what this is the high-end everything. And this book is high-end everything. And I read through that. I read about quantum physics. I read about a lot of different things. Why? Because here's the thing that has always irritated me about knowledge. You pick up a Bible, you read a Bible, and you read the Bible for survival. For survival. You read the Bible because I don't want to die. I don't want to go to hell. I want to live this life. You read the Bible for survival. So now you have salvation. You've got survival, but you know nothing else. You don't know how quantum physics actually is all parallel to spirituality, to what we can see in the Bible. You don't know how finances are parallel to what the Bible talks about. You don't understand that the foundation for everything that you live is actually spiritual. Why? Because they've taken you off the mentality of life and putting you in this thing where you go reality. Reality is not what you think it is. If you study quantum physics, you realize that reality is based on all the ingredients that make you human. Reality is based on all the ingredients to make you human. I have people say, how do you know this? I read and I absorb, and you correlate things. You correlate things. And so when you correlate things, back to this passage says, this spiritual law says, for you don't reckon the suffering this present time to be worthy or compare with the glory which shall be revealed in you, 8 and 18. So when you begin to look at that, you go, okay, first of all, I have to realize that this is a battle, and all I'm literally doing is going through the process. The second of all, I got to realize I can't compare. We so compare emotion to emotion, person to person, situation to situation. There are people that don't get married. There are people that don't go to school. There are people that don't move into their dreams or their visions. All these things, they do this. All the things they do this, and because they do this, that's all they know, because they compare. My life is not your life. And so what happens is the battles I go through, so what do you do with a person? The battles I go through are the battles that are according to my calling, that I'm called to do this. I have lights all around me. I have entertainment. I have cameras, but that may not be your life. Don't get mad because that's not your life, because whatever your life is dictating or whatever you are called to do is more powerful than what I'm called to do. There are people, I said this, I have, I forget how many TikToks. I went from 128 TikTok followers to over 30,000 overnight. Had a gentleman say, man, I went to 900. But guess what? There are people that have millions of followers. But I don't have to desire to have millions of followers. I just have to be desirous of effectively doing what I'm called to do. So that means I've got to bring things to completion. I've got to make things happen. I can't depend on the fact of comparing myself to somebody else and go, okay, what did he do to get 1 million followers? What did he do? Because guess what? My 30,000 followers, I don't even know what I did. I don't even know what I said. I don't know what I said. I don't know what one thing made 30,000 people go, we want to hear what you have to say? I have no idea. So what would behoove me to do is stay on what I'm already on and keep doing what I'm already doing. How you got there is not important. The important that you got there and that you're called to be there. Remember that. How you got there is not important. The important thing is that you're called to be there. That's it. And you fulfill that calling. So the first thing is, know that there's a battle. Second thing is, there's no comparison. Let's go on there. And the third thing is worthiness. You have to realize that you not only are worthy of where you are, that the mere fact that you've gone through the things that you've gone through to get to where you are makes you more worthy than the person that just picked it up and read about it. Why? Experience in turn teaches us a lot more than what we read and what we study. I'll never forget the fact that one day I was doing a conference and the lady said, you're teaching us about relationships, but are you married? And I said, no, I'm not married. She goes, well, you won't know what this is like until you're married. See, I took everything personal at that time. And I go, well, I know the knowledge is the knowledge and the information is the information. No, it's not. Now, don't get me wrong. I can share something with you that's information and information based, because there's a difference in what's true and what's truth. So I can share infallible truths that are not going to go anywhere anyway, no matter how you slice it. But relationships are so volatile because they carry a spiritual aspect, a physical aspect, a mental aspect, and a physical aspect. And so each one of those aspects have to be addressed. The weight of the relationship should always be spiritual. The processing of the relationship should always be mental, and the demonstration or the acting out of the relationship should always be physical. So you should always start your relationship from a spiritual standpoint. Always. You should start it from a spiritual standpoint. And when you start it from a spiritual standpoint, then from that point on, you'll understand how to maneuver within it. Take that spiritual part and then make it a mental part. That make sense? Good. So now you go to this thing, worthy. And here's the key to that thing. I should really get up to the Greek. I might, if I feel like going over it, I might go into it and just look at the Greek word myself. Since I'm sitting here, I got this computer sitting in front of me. Worthy. Let's see. I don't have my camera over here. I wish I had my camera over here. I will show you guys this. Let's see. Let's do this. We're going to do this. All right. So what you have to realize is when you're talking about the word worthy, when you're really talking about the word worthy, you're talking about something different. Romans, we say 8. And for those of you that are like me that want to study, I use something. They don't pay me. I'm not telling you what they use. Okay. So now, check this out. We're going to do this. We're going to do this like this. So the third thing is worthiness. And it comes in so many different aspects. Now, in the Greek, worthiness simply means weight, value, befitting. Work. That's the Greek word. And the Greek word, I can let them say it because I can't say it. Can you hear it through my mic? Let me see if you can hear it.
E5:14, axios.
Axios. It's axios. That's the word for worthy in the Bible. That's the Greek translation for the word axios. So axios means worth, befitting. So when the passage says this time is not befitting or worthy to be compared. So what you're going through, now here's the deal. As Christians and spiritual people, the one thing you have to realize, and I'm going to say this like this and then I'll explain. We look down for understanding instead of looking up for understanding. Now what does that mean? We look down for understanding. For example, if I say that, is Will here? I don't know, Will's probably here. If I say to Will, what I'm dealing with is not worthy, you're not worthy. No, what I'm dealing with is not worthy for you to talk about. Okay? I tell Will, what you're dealing with is not, I'm not worthy, it's not worthy. Then what Will compares is where his lack is instead of where his glory is. So he said, what you're dealing with is not compared to what you're going to deal with. So he's saying, what you're dealing with right now is so great. See, you not comparing to the task, you're so great that the task is beneath you. You follow me? the task is beneath you. You're so great that the task becomes beneath you. When the task becomes beneath you, what you find yourself doing is pulling yourself down to this level, go, I'm just not worthy. Most of the tasks that you're dealing with right now are tasks that are so beneath you that you have adapted to them because they make you feel worthy because you accomplished them. My wife does t-shirts. She wants to do t-shirts. She likes to create. But I said, sweetie, we pay people to create shirts. Now, we don't pay anybody $1 million. You know, we're saying it like we got a t-shirt company. We pay people to do t-shirts. So why are you doing t-shirts? She likes to be creative. She wants to create something to say, look, this is what I did. And so now, here's the funny thing. I literally just found out about this year. She said, well, I've said it before. Saying something and getting acknowledgement and understanding of a thing is two different things. And I'll teach that sometimes one day when I talk about relationships. So what you have to realize is what you're going through is befitting a person that is at your level of worthiness. You got it? What you're going through is befitting of a person that's worthy. It's befitting. So when I began to move into this level, and it's very interesting, when I knew that God was saying, I need you to go in this direction, that's when TikTok happened, but that's also when the conflict happened. When that happened, when that happened, I began to realize that this was the right place. So the things that I deal with are befitting a person that is at my level. Yeah. So what you're going through is befitting a person at your level. See, when I start talking about large sums of money, the conflict comes to start to now. Physically, it can't do anything, but mentally it begins to attack me going, you can't have that kind of money. Why would you have that kind of money? You got this kind of bill. You got this kind of bill. You got all these different things. And so when that happens, what can break the cycle, because between your spirit and your body is your mind. So the battle is in your mind. The mind is truly a battlefield. The problem or the challenge that most people have when it comes to that is not understanding that the mind is not a battlefield of victory or defeat. It is a battlefield of processing. You win by allowing the Spirit of God to talk to your mind, by allowing yourself to be spiritual, submit to spirituality. So that's how you win. You lose by trying to outthink a process that's already been given to you to beat. Does it make sense? That's how you lose. You lose when you start going, okay, I want to outthink this thing, or you don't think you're worthy, or you think you're fearful, or that's how you lose. You lose because of that. So when he says the first thing is you need to realize that this is a battle, and there's going to be a battle. The second thing you need to realize that don't compare. You do not compare. And the third thing is worthiness. That's it. The third thing is worthiness. If I was able to take every one of you people, bring you into YouTube with me, and sit down in a group of you and to talk to you, here's what I would say to you. I would say to each one of you, God created you for purpose. He didn't create you for anything other than purpose. I'm doing a TikTok live on tomorrow at 6 p.m. So if you're on TikTok on your phone, come and join me. And one of the things that is that God gives you purpose, and purpose gives you options. God gives you purpose, but purpose gives you options. See, when you understand that God is not giving you anything, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you go to church or you don't go to church. He's not giving you anything that, number one, you can't win. And he's not giving you anything to tell you how bad you are. And y'all got to follow me here. There's two ways to discipline a child. There's two ways to discipline a child. You can discipline them by putting a punishment. You can punish them and punish them to the point that they know if they do something wrong, they are punished. Or you can empower them to the point they realize that what they were doing was not even worth their time. It didn't mean anything. Example. My grandson wanted to learn how to swim. Okay? So we told him to do certain things. And every time we told him to do things, he told us he didn't want to do. He told us he was afraid. He told us he was scared about swimming. So we had two ways to do this. We told you to get in the water. You better get into the water. That's one way. That's a punishment. You better get into the water or else. Or we can take my same grandson and I can say this to him. I can say, my grandson, I said, you think this water's, you're scared to get in the water? Yeah, why? Water's just wet. There's water on you right now. Well, you control the water. Did you know that? Every time you're over there in the pool, and I did this, every time you're over in the pool, you swim. He said, no, I don't. I said, yes, you do. Every time. I said, swim is just the ability to stay above water and move across the water. You're doing it. You're doing it. And I began to tell him how much he's doing and tell him how good he was at doing it, to the point that I left him alone. Why? Because see, this type of help makes a person take their own stance. I left him alone. Next thing I know, he's putting his face in the water. Next thing I know, he's diving in the water. Next thing I know, he was trying to swim. Why? Because he realized that he was bigger than the task. You are bigger than the task. The challenge that happens is you don't know it because you think your worthiness is according to accomplishment, because I did it. Now, his worthiness is not the fact that he swam. The worthiness is the fact that he knows spiritually he can swim. Can I say that again? Your worthiness is not the fact that you can swim or that you can win or that you are great at it. It's the fact that you have the capabilities to do it. Because the moment that you have the capabilities to do it is the moment that you can do it again. Because once he realized that worthiness is the fact that he can do it, and not to tear down the thing that he's more worthy than, because there's somebody worthy at this level and worthy at that level, and you realize that you can do it, it's the moment that you win. Because it's not, see, when you make a cake and I give you all the ingredients to make the cake, and that's okay, I want you to make a cake. You say, okay, I'm going to make a cake. You'll make a cake. I'm doing it. Uncle Dallas, I'm going to make a cake. Good. So you go to make the cake, and you get all the ingredients, and you make the cake. The victory is not in the making of the cake. The victory is in understanding the system by which the cake should be made. You follow me? The victory is not in making the cake. It's in the ability to know that you have that ability, because the ability can never be taken from you. The cake can be taken from you. The impact that the cake has can be taken from you, but the cake can never be, how to make the cake can never be taken from you. That's the first thing. Check this out. Not only can the impact of the thought of the ability to make the cake not be taken from you, you can now enhance the ability to make the cake by knowing how to make chocolate, by knowing how to make strawberry, by taking different ingredients and playing. Why? Because once you get that, that is the seed for a greater understanding. And what all you're getting, get understanding. You follow me? So your worthiness is what is the thing that moves you within this. You're worthy of that. Now, what that means is you're going to jump into areas that you don't even know how you're going to fix it or how you're going to get out of it or get into it. And you're going to jump into those areas. And once you jump into those areas, you're going to start realizing how much more information, how worthy you are to be in that situation. Why? Because number one, you realize that there's going to be a conflict. Number two, you don't compare yourself to anybody else. And number three, you understand how worthy you are. You're a fighter. You are a fighter when you don't want to fight. Why? Because the mere fact that there is conflict, the mere fact that there is something coming towards you, and the mere fact that you decide that you're going to take it on head on means you're a battler. You're fighting right now. That's why you haven't given up. That's why you're dealing with the things you're dealing with. That's why you're dealing with the relationships and people around you and situations and circumstances. Why? Because you are a fighter. And I make this comment all the time. Let go of anything that happened yesterday. This is going to be very difficult. And I understand. Everything that happened yesterday, let it go. At the moment that you take that thing yesterday and you remember it. Let me show you what remember means. Let me see if I can do this right now. Let me do this. Let me show you what remember means. This is how I taught this in forgiveness. Okay? This is how I taught. Let me see if this one, I don't know if this, yeah, this comes off too. Okay, this comes off too. All right. Okay. So now check this out. This pen, can y'all see that? Yeah, y'all can see that. This pen, that was not a good thing. This pen hurt me. When I remember, I take the pen and I put the pen back together. The biggest part of the pen just fell down on the floor over there. I can't get it. And I re-put the pen back together. And when I re-put the pen back together, I remember the pen. I give the pen life. I reanimate the pen. What I need to do is dismember the pen. I have to dismember all the things that made that pen help destroy me. Once I dismember it, I then control it. So it's all taken apart, and I'm gonna take this and put this over here because I'm gonna do something kind of crazy. I dismember it. I take all the parts and I put the parts. Once I put the parts back together, at that point, I have given life to something that I should have forgotten. See, you are holding on to things that you should let go of. Why? Because those things that you're holding on to are not worthy of your life. They're not worthy to have mental space. They're not worthy to have physical space. They're not worthy. Everything that happened yesterday, forget it. I don't care what they did. I don't care what they forget it. If you forget it, hear me now. Because you're worthy to God, if you forget it, He now is assigned to it. The moment you forget it is the moment that the Spirit of God is assigned to it. And we don't understand that because what we want to do is do it how we want to do it. The moment you let it go is the moment that the Spirit of God is assigned to it. He's assigned to your next level. But in order for you to operate in that assignment, you have to realize three things. And this is what I taught you today. The three things that will take you to the next level. Number one, conflict is there. It's a part of it. Everything. It's a part of it. I know you want to be able to go into a situation and go, hey, I just floated in, I just floated out. And I hear people say, oh, you want a sweatless victory. There is no such thing. I don't care who you're talking to. There is no such thing as a sweatless victory. It's a great saying. It's a wonderful saying. But there's no such thing as a sweatless victory. Anything that's a sweatless victory denies the fact that God you have to grow into something. And growth causes pressure, and pressure causes perspiration, I'll say. So there's no such thing as a sweatless victory. So stop letting people tell you, oh my God, it was a sweatless victory. Now, I understand the concept. The concept is I had to do little to nothing to get this done. Those people that follow me on Instagram, little to nothing. I don't know what they have to do. I didn't have to do anything. It was just what happened. And within that, it was sweatless. It meant nothing. It didn't take anything. It didn't change anything. It was just something that was sweatless, which I understand. So now, if it's a sweatless victory, let me see if I got this thing over here. Let me look over it. If it's a sweatless victory, it means I never have to put forth any effort to make it happen. Does that make sense? And so when I look at this thing, I look at the fact that there's no such thing as a sweatless victory, but I also know that anything that presses in my area, I don't have to, anything that tries to press me, I don't have to worry about it because I know how to win. The battle that you're after is not the battle of you learning how to fight. The battle is learning how to win. Remember, it's not the fact that you want the cake to get the glory of the cake. It's you want the ingredients. You want the information. This is the thing that we've had a problem with because people wanted to give you information on how to make something happen, but you want the thing. So you want the thing. Instead of going, how do I make the thing? How do I make the cake? How do I build the car? How do I do the brain surgery? How do I do that? And when I look at that, you look at that in such a way you go, okay, I see what the deal is. Because when you understand worthiness, you understand that the battle is not just a battle. It's not just a battle. It's an encouragement to make you better. It's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. Okay. For those of you that are watching me on YouTube, this is what's going to happen on tomorrow. Let's see if I got it. On tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Let me do this. I got my own little camera, guys, so I can kind of do this like this and move this like this. Yeah, let's see if that works. Okay, so on tomorrow, yeah, this thing right here is taking place. I'll put a copy on Instagram because Instagram people can't see it. If you're on my YouTube channel, this is taking place on tomorrow, and it's called the 5 things that church never told you about your relationship. 5 things that church never told you about your relationship. If you're in a relationship, you're about to be in a relationship, if you want to be in a relationship, on TikTok tomorrow at 6 o'clock, I can go live. So we're gonna do a TikTok live, and that's that. So it's already set up. You can go on TikTok. My TikTok handle is the spirit of, I forget what that thing is. What is my TikTok handle? Hold on, people. What is my TikTok handle? I'm on there every day. I should know it by heart. But I have two, because I have two accounts. That's why. My TikTok, hold it, turn this down because it's going to try to go loud and everybody's going to try to hear what I'm saying. My TikTok handle is True Spirit, one word, underscore life. True Spirit underscore life. One word. True Spirit, one word, underscore life. And it looks like that, just in case you can see that. You see that? Yeah. Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, it looks like that. So True Spirit underscore life. And go and ask questions. You guys have a question, just go down and ask questions. In order to ask questions directly to me pertaining to relationships, and this is going to be a spiritual move too. When it comes to relationships, go down to my messenger, not messenger. Go down and send me an ID. I am ID. D-I-I-D. Send me an Instagram message. Send me a message, and I'll answer the questions on there tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow at 6. All right. Tomorrow at 6. I'm saying that again. Follow me, guys. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock, we will do this thing. All right. All right. I love you. 3 things. This synopsis. Take it up. Number one. So I should be writing these down. Number one. First thing you need to understand is there is a battle. That's it. There is a battle. So if you want to grow, there has to be conflict. Conflict brings strength. Strength brings process. Process brings destination. So there's that. Number 2. Don't compare. Don't compare. Live your life. Stay your lane. Hebrews says this. You're surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses. So why don't we run with patience the race that's set before us? Run our race. Run it patiently. Run that. Why? When you run your race, those that want to run race will either see you and run with you, or see you and run against you, because they need to be encouraged. And the final thing is your worthiness. You are worthy, guys. You just are. That's just the way it is. You are worthy of all the things that have happened in your life. You are worthy of all the situations that are taking place. You are worthy. So stop giving yourself the excuse not to be worthy. I'll just say that again. Stop giving yourself the excuse not to be worthy. All right? Yeah, I'm trying to get this thing to zoom, but it won't zoom. Something's wrong with my logo. Yeah. Oh, that's noted. There we go. There we go, my friends. There we go. There we go, bloody friends. There we go. Okay. So I just fixed that. I just fixed that on my computer. Now, all the stuff that we do, guys, if you ever want me to show you what I do and how I do what I do, just let me know, and I will do whatever. I either do a video for it, or I will do something live and let you guys see it if you ever want to see it, because we have the whole camera system set up here. So anyway, that being said, my friends, that's it. If there are no comments, no questions, let me know. I don't see any questions on YouTube. I don't see any questions on Instagram. So that's it. The world's a wonderful place. I hope to see you on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Now we're doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday because I got to concentrate Tuesday and Thursday to another platform. So that's it. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can rewatch this whole video, the whole thing. You can rewatch it on YouTube on that link below right there. You can rewatch the whole thing. I advise you to rewatch it. The passage that you need to look at is Romans 8 and 18. That's the passage that founded what we talk about. That's the foundation. And I will talk to you guys a little bit later. I love you so much, guys. You are just so wonderful. And I thank you for all your support. We will talk a little bit later. This is William Dallas, Higher Styles of Chronicles. Peace.